Something other than river cruise ship that's really but looking at the prices, Viking cruise, the British Isles cruise, yeah, it's expensive, but I mean, it's all inclusive. That's what I like about finding. We went to Japan. I would never go to Ocean. That's one of the I would never go on nice, very nice. Yeah, nothing but good comments about the Viking cruise. Well, it was not good, but unfortunately, it's 50-50 these days. Absolutely.
Okay, 10 a.m. kickoff. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I hope everyone is well. It's nice to see all your faces. Thank you for being here. My name is Hamilton Cheney. I'm with Herrington Harbour Marinas, and we welcome you here this morning. I want to put out a big thank you to Brad Wells, who's organized all this stuff, and let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, Brad. We put this all together, and I want to thank Genevieve for checking us in this morning. Thank you so much, Genevieve. And I want to thank the Herring Bay Yacht Club for putting this on for us today. And this is what, your third time? Third time, yeah. And so they have a wonderful program for us, and we thank them very much. I'm going to hand the mic to Brad to lead us off. And thank you again, Brad. Welcome to everyone. Enjoy your program. Take care.
All right, so just a couple things, guys. I just wanted to remind everybody, next weekend we have 3 seminars that's going to be hosted by a New Bay Book Publishing Company. That's a local publishing company. They're doing a presentation called Waterman's Widow about just a local murder mystery. We also have the author of the book about the Lennon J. Marvel. If you guys aren't familiar with that, that's a great piece of local history. That's very interesting. And then after that class, we're going to have Dennis Doyle here doing 52 lessons learned from 50 years fishing on the bay. So we're going to live stream those as well. If you can't make it, you can just look at the Herrington Harbour YouTube channel and stream that. The other thing I wanted to point out is last weekend when the submarine command course was here, they brought up a very good topic. Most people make the mistake of calling 911 when they're on the water. They advise calling this number right here. That's the Annapolis Coast Guard emergency phone number. That's the number that 911 calls when you call them and you're on the boat. So they said call that number first and then 911 second. So that's all I really wanted to say today. I want to thank these guys again for coming out. I tell everybody, if you're a local boater in this area, this is the best presentation that we'll host for you this year. Just the local knowledge that these guys are going to share with you all is just well, sorry, I don't know how to okay, so they're pretty mediocre, I guess. They've done great presentations, but anyway, I'll hand this over now. I'm going to hype them up.
Yeah, we're getting tired.
Anyway, everybody, thank you. This is Deb Fast. I'll let you keep up. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Deb Fast. I'm the Commodore of the Herring Bay Bay Yacht Club. And I just want to introduce a few people that are here from the yacht club. We have our member at large, Tom Wilson, who's a Herrington Harbour North slip holder. And then we have our former fleet captain, Bill Nish, who is also a captain, licensed captain. And then we have our current fleet captain, Andy Schneider, who's going for his captain's license. So, questions, you're going to get some good answers. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tom.
Good job. All right, well, Brad, thanks for starting us off with that one. We will try to live up to a piece of that if we can.
You got it.
So we're going to walk through about in the next hour or two kind of an agenda of what's happening in the Bay, what can you enjoy in the Bay, and then we're going to also tell you a little bit about the Herring Bay Yacht Club. So for example, our friend Andy here made a mistake of coming to one of the prior discussions about this. We lured him in, and now he's our fleet captain. So Andy will be ready to provide this to us next year. You got to be careful, as he says. And a huge thank you to Herrington Harbour. We appreciate you and everything you do for us. You know, we have a clubhouse down at South. We have members split between, and then we also have members like Bill that are elsewhere. So you don't have to be here to be part of this club. And I'll walk you through that in a little bit. But a huge thanks. You know, I've been boating on the Bay since I was probably 5 years old, and I've never been to a place better than this. So I'm on B-Dock. I love it. I would never go anywhere else. So big thank you to you guys for that. All right, so what are we going to do today? We're going to tell you about the yacht club, get to know you a little bit. We're going to tell you how Bill's going to go in detail on how we select cruising destinations. We'll talk about some of these different places. Some of them are day trips, some are weekends, depending on what you're interested in. We'll go through some resources. This one here, holy cow, I didn't even know about this one. So make sure you take a photograph of this before you leave. I would have just simply called 911. Questions and answers. So if you have questions as we go, just ask. Stop us, throw your hand up, whatever, so we see you. Ask as you go. Listen, we're not experts in any of this. We've spent a lot of time in the Bay between Deb or Andy or Bill. If we can't answer it, we'll go to someone else in the audience, or heck, we'll make it up if we have to. But we'll make sure at some point we can get you some type of answer. And then if you're interested for more, there's our email address, and we'll have cards and so forth to put out. A little bit about just a real quick. This is our motto: real people, real cruising, real fun. And that is, honest to goodness, that sets the tone for the Herring Bay Yacht Club. And I'll tell you a little story on how I got involved in this. So it was, I bought a boat. It was in the slip that it's in right now here at Herrington Harbour. And my oldest son worked for Bill. Never heard of Bill before. He worked for Bill. And my oldest son is 29, engineer, comes home and he says, "Hey, Dad, my boss is in this club. And they hang out, they cruise places, they have fun, they go to restaurants, they hang out at bars. They stay in the pool all day and have a good time." And me and my wife said, okay, we're in. So we joined. I sent my check, which is cheap, I'll talk about that. And then COVID hits. So that's about, what, give or take in March or April. And the first cruise that I was able to go on was a long cruise. So this is a week-long event that we do. And we traveled with about 8 other boats. Time of our life. I've been boating on the Bay for years, and I'm telling you right now, that was the time of my life. We learned so many lessons. This is where camaraderie comes together. This is where you have boating mishaps and you help each other out. And that's where I'll tell you that the club's been fantastic. You know, it's one thing I boated with family my entire life here, but when we switched over, we still boat with family. On the long trips, I try to avoid the grandkids if I can, but that's a little hard between my wife and I. But it's an opportunity to have a lot of fun with your folks. Deb's husband created that motto for us, and it is so true. So a little bit about it. Everybody familiar with Rose Haven, which is where Herrington Harbour South is? 1955, Boating and Social Club, that's how it started. So we have, give or take, about 150 members, primarily Maryland, Virginia, PA, Florida, a lot of Northern Virginia, a lot of Maryland, and so forth. And we have, as I said, Herrington Harbour North, South, and then we have folks that have boats in other places too. So if your boat's not here, by all means, you can come and join with us. About 75% are power boats. That's just the way we're set up. 20% are sailboats, and then this is going to be my next life. And if you're in this category, you are the smartest of all. Anybody in this category no boat? Sir, we need to check your IQ, because I'm telling you right now, you're the smartest in the room. I'm just curious. Has anybody just bought a boat? Oh, you poor people. So, all that extra income that you had, gone. All right, bad news for you. The mistake of a lifetime. I'm just kidding. So we do a lot of things. We do, besides the boating piece, we'll talk about that. We've got an incredible schedule, and at some point, I hope that we can kind of share the yacht club's kind of calendar with you. You can see that on our website. So we do a lot of boating. We have a lot of social events. I'll go into a little more detail on that. Safety. This is where I say traveling with crew is fantastic. When you have the opportunity to go with other folks, some are experiencing this, some are experiencing that. We have mechanical people on board. I can't wait to wear around a wrench. So if I had an issue, we had the right people to go to. We have folks, experts like Bill on navigation and so forth. So, if you needed help with any of your Garmin, your GPS units, we got the right people to go to. The dues, just so you know, we just raised $250. This is a deal. I've seen places where I think, probably that could be a monthly fee, right? That's your monthly due, and that's after you pay $11,000 or whatever that is. And I'll be frank, Deb gave up on the Blue Blazers and the Ascots. We gave those up last year. No, we didn't. But this is a very relaxed club. This is all about having a good time, come as you are type of thing. And then the renewal is $200, but you get a lot for your money. You get an opportunity to hang with good people. We have lane events. The parties are a great time. We have it, thanks to Herrington and the crew. We're at Herrington Harbour South for a beach. That's our grand opening right there on the beach with a tent. We typically have a band. We have great food. We hang there all night. We have a great bonfire. It's a great time. Poker runs, it's a little different. We aren't go-fast boats. Nobody's racing around the bay. We've done it in different ways. Sometimes you jump on your dinghy or you just drive to the different, the bars in the area. You grab a card from the bartender. We've also done it where we've had it on various boats. So you just kind of walk around at different piers. You get a B pier, you get a D pier, you get a what pier. You grab a card, then we all come together, we hang out, we have a good time. We eat, drink, be merry, and then somebody wins. Never me though. Can't figure that one out. And then the ball and the change of watch. I'll tell you, this is where you have a little bit of something for everybody, right? We love the ball. That's where you get together with folks. We dance the night away, eat and drink well, you sleep over, because I'm not driving home, and you have a great time. So we get folks to come and do that. We do that every other year. And then we have a change of watch also, and that's where we bring new members who are on the board, we announce them and so forth. We also have a great opportunity to kind of meet and talk with our new members as well. But that change of watch is a lunch event, and we do that in downtown Annapolis at a great hotel. So we just kind of switch back and forth, if you will. All aspects of boating, boat and dock safety, reciprocity. So I know we have members that enjoy that reciprocity all over the United States. So if you're traveling down to Florida, you want to go to a yacht club, you break out your card. You want to go to Cambridge, stay at the yacht club, you break out your card. And then you get those yacht club events, you're allowed to go there, you get the reduced prices and so forth. And then you get the reduced dues on the water as well. All right, so quick questions for you guys. Show by one or two hands. How many are power boaters? Okay. How many are sailboaters? Wow. So we probably have a few more sailboaters than power boaters. And we have first year folks. You guys can just write your check now. Just, I don't know, 10% a year, something like that. That's your new tidings. You'd be lucky if you got 10%, I bet. How many for, give or take, 5 years? Good. A lot of regular boaters. Anybody new to the Bay? Okay, good. New to the Bay. And then, just curious, how many enjoy day trips? That's your primary? And then, who likes hanging out on that boat or going out? Both. Hands up. Yep. All right. Outstanding. Good deal. Good deal. So, that's kind of what we're all about. We're going to go, Bill's going to start, we're going to go into the actual places that we tend to go to, we like to enjoy. We'll switch back and forth. Again, don't hesitate for a minute. If you have a question, shout it out. We'll try to answer it for you the best we can. All right?
All right, so we're going to talk about a little bit about how we select our locations and where our destinations are, what we look for. Typical trip, 20 to 60 nautical miles, can be done on a weekend. People can get home in the event of a disabled vessel, right? So it's all about going out and having fun. If something happens, you want to make sure that you get home, you're fairly close. We have members that join us that drive over. We typically try to find a place that has a hotel. So if you don't have a boat, you want to drive over and meet us over there, you can do that. Or if you don't want to take your boat, or if your boat is broken down.
That happens too.
Exactly. So we try to accommodate everybody. We always look for, when we're going to a location nearby, shopping, dining, etc., history, architecture, any local activities or events that are going on, we try to align with those so that something good's happening there. And then, as I said, accommodations for people without boats, or people with small boats that don't want to stay on your boat, you can stay at the hotel. So try to include everybody. We really look for like destination marinas, right? So if you take Herrington Harbour as a destination marina, which we probably have at the top of the list, we try to look for those pools in the slips that they have the right quantity. We typically travel with 12 boats or so, maybe more. Have draft, beam, power, accessibility, and fuel at these docks. So you've got everything when you go there. Typically try to do floating docks. Makes it easier to tie up, right? A lot easier getting in and out. Helpful staff. We always look for, when we go to a marina, we're always evaluating staff, right? Did they come out? Did they help us dock? Most of the marinas that we've selected over the years have fantastic staff.
And if not, we're there to help too. So if we're traveling as a group, then we jump in and help dock as well.
Whoever gets there first, whoever has the fastest boat, better know how to dock. But no, our members will be there. We're calling each other, we're talking to each other on the phone. We have a text message on the phones. Hey, I'm coming up, and we'll all go meet them at the slip. Right, make sure you get in. Particularly if you're new or you're docking. We don't want any divorces doing the docking. So we're happy now. Let's see, pool is pretty key. We try to have a pool, it's particularly during the summer when it's hot, just makes it go a lot better. Bar on site, within walking distance, and then transportation's another key aspect. During COVID, we had a lot of places that didn't have transportation. We had a difficult time getting into town and whatnot. As that's going by, it's getting much, much better. Let's see, the cruise season. Typically, we try to do, our cruise season's between May and October. We try to do about 2 raft ups per season, about 1 cruise per month. And the cruises, as I said, could be 4 boats, but have been over 20 boats. So, just depends on where we're going and how it aligns with everybody's schedule. We do a long cruise every season, typically in August due to the weather. We try to get a good weather window that seems to work the best. Historically, we've gone to Philadelphia, we've gone to Cape May. We took the ICW down to Albemarle Sound. We've done the southern Chesapeake Bay, Ocean City, New Jersey. Didn't quite make it there. We made it to Cape May. The weather held us off from going around. And then 2024, we're going to be doing the Middle Bay. So, fleet captain, this man right here, coordinates the travel, the route, safety, assists the captains as needed. He has a team. He has a committee that helps him with all the weather. So we provide you with what the weather for the weekend is going to be. Charts. We provide you with the charts electronically. Any questions that you have, we'll answer those. Typically what we do is when we're selecting a new marina, one that we haven't been before, we'll go visit it. Right? We'll do what's called a land cruise. We take a visit down there, see what the condition of the marina is, see if they have power, see if they have, everything's accommodation good. We take a look at the cruising distance. We put out the marina location contact details, look at the marina's amenities. We tell you how to make reservations. Typically nowadays it's through DocWell or Snag-a-Slip. Those are the 2 most popular. Chart of the harbor, as I said, we'll send out a routing map. We do a briefing before the departures, typically a Thursday night or a Friday night, or at least Saturday. We'll do a little briefing, a Zoom meeting. You can ask any questions that you have on there, you know, what to expect, et cetera. We'll discuss the weather and what to expect in regards to that. And then how we're gonna coordinate during the passage. If you wanna travel with somebody, your boat speed 15 knots, we'll find another boat that's 15 knots, still line up, you know, so you guys can travel together, or if you wanna travel by yourself, that's fine too. Okay, Middle Bay weekend cruising destinations. These are destinations we'll discuss today. Annapolis is a weekend cruise destination, Kent Narrows, St. Michael's, Oxford, Cambridge, and then for raft ups, we've got West River, Road River, Lowe's Wharf, and Solomon's Island is a good. And if you guys weren't aware, you're right here. All right, Annapolis. It's about 17 nautical miles from here to Annapolis. About an hour, roughly, if 25 knots or 20 knots. 4.5 hours at 4 knots. So a lot of sailboaters here, that's about a 4-hour trip. Let's see. Annapolis has an incredible setup for marinas, etc. there. They have mooring balls that you can hook up to. Vast array of bars, restaurants, hotels that are all within walking distance. Plenty of shopping. Very, very active. So if you're going to go up there and you're going to reserve a slip, better do it early. And actually, we're finding that's the case most now. Right after post-COVID, it's you got to do your slip reservations really early. There's a water taxi that runs around that makes it quite easy to get to wherever you need to go. Somebody had, yep?
Yeah, so when you say that reservations have to be that early, so early as in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years?
Yeah. Maybe about a month to 2 months. If we're doing it for the whole entire club, when we do 12 slips, we're making reservations right now, but we make it for a general packet of 12, right? And then adjust accordingly.
Yeah, so, this year, calling around marinas trying to get slips, every marina that we spoke with was like, tell your members to make the reservations early. So I've already booked all my slips for the summer. I had one marina that I called on, like say Monday, and said, I need slips for Memorial Day weekend. And she said, no problem. 2 days later, she says, I need a list of the boats that are coming, because of other people calling. So within 2 days, it went from no problem to give me the name, give me all the names of the boats, their theme, their length, everything. So if you want slips, you gotta make them early this year. I don't know what's going on, but
Is that requirement the same for mooring balls or just slips?
not a lot of marinas have mooring walls.
Well, except Annapolis, you said.
Annapolis, you
First
can't,
come, first served.
Yeah, reserve.
Sorry?
Annapolis, you can't reserve a mooring, you have to go and it's first come, first served. And they're not just in the harbor, so if you go on the Annapolis City website, you'll find the marine information, the dock master information. The balls right in the harbor, as soon as you come in, those are up to 65 feet, I think, or 55 feet. Once you go under the bridge, there's a group of them that are like up to 35 feet length. And then back further into Spa Creek, there's some more larger ones. And then the back creek, I'm not familiar with the length of it, but there is length.
Do you ever have destinations where you anchor out instead of slips and mooring balls?
Most of our members prefer slips. I will anchor out, on the long cruise this year, I'm gonna anchor out 2 nights, when we're going.
So, yeah, and I will say that for Shelton Bay, which is one of our raft up destinations, we usually have a group of people that will go and anchor up in the bay, so it's optional, right? It's not really a planned thing, but we get together and do that. Yes, sir.
So like for Annapolis, for instance, if you just, woke up one morning and said, I think I'll go there and spend the day. Do they have room just to spend the day or typically?
Coal Marina.
Yeah.
That's what I
That's
would say.
bad.
See what they've got, right? Because cancellations, all kinds of different things. Sometimes they'll have what's called a day transit, but you gotta get there early.
Don't show up, call first.
Yeah.
We've gone up unannounced, right, and hoped to get a ball, and we couldn't.
Does the water taxi go to where you're at? Oh, okay, that's good.
Just got a call and tell them.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that if you've got somewhere you wanna go, but you didn't have a chance to pre-plan this, or it was busy at the time, you call Thursday or Friday, look, it's boating, right? So somebody's boat broke down, or somebody can't go. So you'll probably get there may be some hope, it's just a matter of you have the right time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, does it, do you have the same problem that like St. Michael's with coming in for a day, or is?
Same, just about everything right now, we're finding is the same way. Particularly on these types of marinas, it's just, it seems to have picked up dramatically. Last, I guess, 2 years, last year we had this issue, and this year, so.
St. Michael's is real simple to just drop anchor,
Yeah,
in the river, in the Miles River. The one thing about St. Michael's is you really need a Danforth or fortress anchor, because it's muddy, and if for some reason the clouds don't hold. We could not get our Delta anchor to hold there, we could with a fortress.
If St. Michael's has a wedding, which is real common, you get a free concert. Too short of Taylor Swift, there are some incredible bands. Now, you have to be prepared. You're not going to sleep until 10 o'clock at night. And then at 10 o'clock at night, everything shuts down.
That's about right, I'm good with that. Perfect,
Good.
I just want to say for folks going to St. Michael's, it's not expensive. Join the Maritime Museum, and they've got fantastic slips that you can use.
Does that work? I know they advertise that, I'm just kind of curious. So you can join the club and you can get a slip?
You become a sponsor of the Maritime Museum, and then you can use their slips, and they've got plenty of them and plenty of water.
It's slips, it's still there if they're available.
Right, yeah.
So, I'm also on the board of the Chesapeake Bay chapter of the Antique and Classic Boat Society, so we run a festival there, Father's Day weekend. Basically, we take the whole marina. But I know the dockmaster, so I wanted to go there this weekend in October, and he said, Deb, the only one I've got is this one slip that's right, it's a crummy slip. I'm like, I'll take it. He normally wouldn't give that slip out to people, but they get busy too. But the nice thing about there is you can go in as a sponsor. You can go in just for the day and stay a couple of hours a week.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to take away is make a call before you go. Don't just cruise down and expect that you're going to find a spot. That's going away these days. These are just the various different marinas in Annapolis. All kinds of different ones there that you can stay at. We have reciprocity with some of those yacht clubs, right?
Miles River, I'm pretty, not Annapolis, but Annapolis, but.
So, general approach to Annapolis Harbor, pretty easy to get in, coming down, depends on where you want to go. It's a pretty deep path into there and then going across. There's just a lot of boat traffic, coming in and out of there on the weekend. You think of anything special like it. Kent Narrows. So Kent Narrows is another one that we like to go to, 23 nautical miles. You can approach Kent Narrows from two different ways. You can, of course, go across up Eastern Bay and go underneath the bridge, or you can go up the bay and around Love Point and go that way as well. Typically, the marinas that we're staying are above the bridge. It's about 23 nautical miles if you're going up the Eastern Bay. Several marinas with transient slips. There's a lot of bars, restaurants, and hotels. One thing is it's not really walking friendly. Everything's pretty far away. There's a few locations where you have one or two restaurants that you can walk to.
If you need a convenience store, you're gonna huff it.
Yeah.
It's a long way.
That's Tom's way.
Oops.
Great biking trails. If you have fold-up bikes or bikes that you bring with them, it's fantastic biking out there. This is a general, various different marinas. We typically stay at the Safe Harbor. We find that that's a nice marina. It's got all the amenities that we're looking for, etc. Yes, ma'am.
Bill,
the only one is the bridge right here.
That bridge will open, I think it's every 30 minutes.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, every 30 minutes, so no limitations there. I think the only thing to be mindful of in Ken Narrows is that current will rip through there.
Yeah.
So if you're slack tide, not an issue. If you're trying to dock in certain places, when that current's rolling, that's why we like safe harbor, because once you talk around, you're not impacted by that. But just be aware, as you're sitting there, so if you're sailboat and you're sitting there waiting for that bridge to open, you'll be jockeying around, because it'll move you.
And as you're waiting, upstream boats have the right of way as they open that bridge. So, you just gotta let those guys go through first. You might call them. What's it? Yeah, current.
Yes.
Up.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind, if you go through and you're going out the other side, the red and green flip on you, right? Because you're coming back, right? So, yeah, and it's a fairly narrow channel going out the north side of Ken Narrows.
There is fuel right along here. I would not recommend trying to do that if the current's moving. I've tried to do that several times, and it's a bit of a challenge.
That's 3 or 4 knots moving through there.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, I would go around and take the longer route through. Any other questions?
Is it an upstream right of way? Tell me more about this.
So if the current's coming from north to south, the guys in the north have the right of way. If the current's going from south to north, the guys in the south have the right of way.
The people being pushed by the current.
Yes. Yeah. So you do have to be aware of that.
So the Bills of the world and the Devs of the world know that, but the 50 idiots that are waiting do not. So just remember that, because it'll be an interesting show if it gets crowded on the weekend.
Yeah. And holding.
That might be one of the idiots. The same.
Holding, you can't easily hold. You gotta do the circle. You gotta do the circle. So.
The other thing with that bridge is you have got to call the bridge tender individually, and you have to also tell them when you clear. So they have to know you're there, and they have to know you're through safely. And they don't like it if you don't call them.
Yeah, they will yell at you.
They will yell at you.
Yes, sir.
They want you to 13.
Dock and dine kind of places, are there, I've not been to Ken Narrows, so I was kind of curious.
Yeah, there's several down, right around over here.
Right.
Forgetting what the
The
bars.
bars.
Jetty's
Jetty's probably the most popular. Yeah.
Red Eyes.
Red Eyes.
Oh, Red Eyes, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's another one, there's another restaurant that's more fancy, that starts with a B, but it's around that area.
You also have Harris Crab House, is in there. That's a great place. But again, the trouble with some of them is if you're docking in that current, just hold on to your seat. If you can find a better place to get to the dock, you're better off. Like, we've gone to safe harbor because it's just again, you pull in there, you go around the backside, and you're not dealing with the current, you're not dealing with the wind, all that's been knocked down for you.
Yeah, and over here is not too. This when you're up here, then it gets tricky.
Hey, what's the typical price overnight for a slip?
Ted, you guys can make arrangements.
Yeah, it really varies. So St. Michael's is probably now $5 a foot. At the museum.
They're on the high, yeah, that'd be
At
high.
the museum, it's, I think the museum is now $250 a foot for sponsors. Most places, they're running, depending on the amenities and how popular the marina is, it's between $2 and $4 a foot.
We've seen that go over the last 2 years. Demand. Ken Darrow's approach, we kind of talked about this, coming out through the big concern is the bridge and the current coming through. And just being aware, take your time. If you're concerned or you make a mistake, don't be afraid to back off. Let people go by and do it again. A lot better to do that than to push forward with a mistake and compile that mistake into a major problem. Just a little bit zoomed in. This is safe harbor up here, and that's where we typically go. St. Michael's, you're up.
St. Michael's is probably a fan favorite of my wife and I. We love this place. So as many of you know, this is an easy place to get to from here. We're going to just shoot up that Eastern Bay, come back down. So depending 23 nautical miles. I mean, literally you can get there faster by boat if you get a power boat than you can by drive. So multiple marinas. We've used the Maritime Museum almost exclusively. There is a St. Michael, I'm trying to remember, we'll probably show it here. That one, the Inn. Harbor Inn, gorgeous place. That's the one that's probably a little pricey, but very nice amenities, beautiful pool and so forth. St. Michael Marina, same thing. So, but you can walk, right? I mean, St. Michael's is a walkable place. You can get to everywhere you need to go. Plenty of places to see and do. This is a great town to explore if you haven't been there. The water taxi is running during the right season, and then of course home to the Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum. This place is just expanded, so if you haven't been there in a few years, they've added more and more stuff. It's a fascinating place to see. Everything's well marked. So going from here to going to St. Michael's, you don't have to worry about anything. Height, water depth, you're good. There's not an issue traveling from here to there. The only place you said it well. I learned a lesson. I had a Delta anchor, and I was anchored off, and all of a sudden I'm like, is that my boat moving? Of course, I'm on land, so that was a run for my life. And what I ended up doing was I switched my Fortress and I dropped it in mud mode, and that thing's like an emergency brake. I mean, that thing's set everywhere. So on at least my experience on the Chesapeake, that was a good move, switching over to the Fortress and then dropping it down. I think it changes the angle from give or take 30 to 45 degrees, so it buries itself. So I didn't go anywhere after that. But there's lots to do. The harbor is busy, right? The harbor is busy. So people are moving in and out of here. Just be careful, be mindful of that as you go. There's the crab claw is there. You can tie up to the crab claw. So if you're running over there for the day, if your timing's right, you can tie up there for free, as long as you go in and eat. Some places, I'll show you the pictures. So some places at the Maritime Museum, just be mindful. If they put you here, have a lot of bumps, right? Because some people don't really understand 6 knots. So as they're coming in and out of there, there's a little bit of boat weight moving in and out. As I said, St. Michael's Harbor, this was great. It was the last we stayed here. In the fall, we went to the Oyster Festival at the Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum. That weekend was 85 degrees in the middle of October. It was beautiful. Not a lot of traffic, boat traffic and so forth. But summertime, it'll be a packed house. Any of these are good. Maritime Museum has new slips coming down here. They've got power, you name it. Just again, if they put you on this bulkhead out here, just be aware. Because they're going to put bigger boats, right? They're going to put your big boats out there on that bulkhead. Just make sure you've got plenty of bumpers to keep you safe. Otherwise, you'll be banging off that a little bit. So this is what I mean by you got plenty of water. You got plenty of water to get over here, like Deb said. There's some places that you're not going to hold well. This is where I ended up, and fortunately, I was able to get it out of there. But coming in, you got plenty of water. It's well marked. There's nothing going in and out of St. Michael's that would be challenging, right? I mean, it's an easy one. It's a fairly easy one in and out of there. Anybody thoughts, concerns on St. Michael's? Good? So, if Annapolis is like, I'm going to keep you up all night, St. Michael's, I'm going to put you in bed at 10, Oxford, maybe 6. I'm just saying. Now, Oxford's great. There's nothing wrong with Oxford, but this is not, if you're going for a lively night, this is not your place. But I love it. It's really easy to get to, so again, no issue for sailors, no issue with water, nothing. You will have no challenges getting to Oxford. It's an easy run. As you showed here, 26 nautical miles, so a little over an hour if you're going any speed, and then trawler speed or sailboat speed. Any speed about a half hour. She likes to go back. Deb speed. Deb brings the whole house with her when she goes. So she's going 6-7 knots. I try to be in the middle there. So easy one. My favorite would be Safe Harbor because people were great. Love this place. Good people, good pool, friendly atmosphere. This is a nice stop in Oxford. Again, it's quiet town, right? Historic, it's walkable. You walk all over the place. The trouble is, you're not going to hit too many stores. There's not a whole lot of places you're gonna go into, but it's a very historic part of Maryland. So if you get up in the morning or you just wanna go for an afternoon stroll, it's a beautiful place to do that. I'll tell you this, if you're looking for Uber, you better find somewhere else, because you're not gonna find a ride, right? Limited transportation, limited. I've never gotten lucky with Uber at Oxford. So restaurants, there's a variety, right? There's the high dollar and very quaint, and then my favorite is they just changed the name. Did it Capsize? I think it's called Capsize. Maybe it's been a few years. So there's a restaurant called Capsize, easy walking distance from. I'll show you where that's at. Easy walking to Capsize is somewhere like right in here. Easy walking distance. Safe Harbor is one at the top. Easy to get to, and then of course always save room because they got that daggone Scottish creamery, right? It's not because I'm Scottish, but maybe because I like ice cream. That right there, that place is to die for. Yeah. Scottish Highland, yeah. Great place to stop. If you got kids with you, that's worth the trip. I'm telling you, that's worth the trip. I'm going to show you. So here's the satellite. I know that's kind of hard to see. Satellite view, but go up here to more of the Navionics look. So Safe Harbor's up in here. The restaurants around here. This is like a beach area. So if you wanted to just head to the beach, you'll find that the locals go there. They're going to jump in the water. If it's not late July or August, and the jellies are out, it's a fine place. But there's plenty of, the marinas are good, the people are good, it's a great place, but as you can see, there's only so much you can do walking around in Oxford, but it's a good quiet night, and it's not that far. So if you sail there, it's a nice sail, you're going up the Choptank, it's a nice ride into there. Cambridge, here's another one. This is another favorite of ours, but we tend to like the higher, so I'll show you that. Another easy run, right? 29 nautical miles, so depending on your speed. Kind of going up the Choptank, summer winds are usually southeast maybe? So coming out of the southeast, so the only thing to keep in mind is the Choptank, you are going in that kind of southeast direction. So if it's blowing a little bit, you get a little bump, but it's not bad. It's a fairly well protected river. It's a good ride. It's wide open. Just keep your eyes out for some, random crab pots, because that's what you'll find. You'll see random booths out there and so forth. You'll see folks fishing up in the Choptank, but it's a great run. And you got some choices. We'll talk about Nats Narrows a little bit more, but Nats Narrows is like Kent Narrows. So that current will smoke through there. So depending on what you want to do, if you're a sailboat and you want to cut through Nats Narrows, and we'll show a little more in detail in a few. But if you cut through there, you're going to get a bridge open. But they'll do it. I mean, that fellow's as cooperative or late, depending on who's working that day. Cooperatives could be, you shout them, they'll open it. You got an express, you can lower the antenna, you can smoke right through it. Keep in mind, it is busy, it is narrow, the current rips, and my experience has been on the west side, it shows up a little bit. So I draw 3.5, I prefer 5 to be safe. I put that shiny new prop speed on, and I don't really want to wear it off in the Chesapeake mud. So I've been a little leery of cutting through there. I haven't done it in a few years, and I've just been going around the bottom. And I'll show you there's an area that you can cut through that's got plenty of water. Crab pots lining up on both sides, but you can shoot the gap and head right to Cambridge. So you got the Yacht Club, which our club has stayed at. People have loved it. You can walk downtown, plenty of places to eat and drink. Our preference is probably the Hyatt Regency. Now from the Hyatt, you can in Cambridge get an Uber. You might wait a little bit, but you could probably get an Uber in Cambridge. The challenge is if you want to get from the Hyatt to the downtown city dock area, you're not going to walk it. That's a hike. Plus you're on Route 50, so you have the highway to deal with. So you have to almost look for some transportation there. But the Cambridge Hyatt has a pool, golf course, spa, whatever your needs are. It's not cheap either, right? The weekend rates are pretty high these days, probably $4. During the week, it's low. You stay there more than a couple nights, they drop the price a little bit. And if it's a holiday, holy cow! New boaters, get a new credit card, because that one's gonna get you. So large river, like I said, plenty of opening, good restaurant shops. It's a great brewery downtown, and they have a ton of special events. So the Hyatt, so you sailboats, you're probably, depending on your max, you're probably not getting to the Hyatt, okay, fixed bridge, and so you're probably going to tend to use the Cambridge Yacht Club. So the Cambridge Yacht Club, the red at the top is the yacht club, and the rest of it is the city basin. And there's a city dock master there. You can pull in there, you can call them up, you can get a slip and so forth. And pretty much everything is in that downtown area. But if you do travel over here to the Hyatt, we'll show you a little bit about what that looks like in a minute. So this is your harbor. Again, plenty of water, plenty of protection. Although it's sitting on the river, you've got great break walls. So just like I'm on B-Dock, they've got a great break wall there, so I'm not getting any of that wind or that water compliments of that wall. And they have the same thing. So getting in and out of here is not challenging, it's not hard, and there's plenty of water. Yes, sir?
Any good anchorages options for them?
I'm not sure I would anchor. I'd be cautious, only because you're really in the river, so you can't. I've never seen anybody anchor through here. This is a little too busy and it's a little too narrow. I don't think I'd take a chance in there. I mean, if you did want to anchor, you could probably go back to out here somewhere. If you wanted to dig in somewhere, I'd probably get in a little closer over here and not be exposed. But you are right on a busy river. I've never tried to drop an anchor there.
Can you go to the smaller one for a second? The video.
That there? Yeah.
Center lower, there's an angle, blue, white, just keep moving.
Down here?
Yeah, keep going, right there, that's a free concrete wall you can tie up.
Yeah.
And you can anchor just short of that, there's enough room.
Yeah. So just keep in mind, you don't hold. But if you're confident in your gear and you're comfortable and it's a calm day, you're probably in a good place. Good point.
At 4:30 in the morning, every commercial boat that you've ever heard of.
I can remember that.
And they all say hello.
And probably at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're coming back to visit you again. All right, so this is the Cambridge Hyatt again. No issue with water depth for power motors. This is a good option. It's a very, it's typically a lively place, pools, bars, you name it, has all that good stuff. Plenty of slips, so you've got the big ones are out here, so the depths of the world are hanging out there, you know, still got large boats here, and then this is going to be filled with the 30-footers and so forth. The thing about the Cambridge Hyatt that I don't like is they have fixed piers. So, you know, depending on the tide, you know, you got to be a little bit of a gymnast to get on and off the boat, depending on what your options are. You know, you're going to jump a little bit. They have a cup, this is the floating pier that's all the way around here. So this is another version of a breakwater type thing wall, but you know, it's more of a floating pier. It's concrete. It's probably 8 feet wide. But as you get down here, they have a few slips that would be available. I would call ahead. Every time I've been there, those things have been full. So when I've gotten there, somebody's already been at that slip. So if you need a floating pier, this may or may not be your best option. You're just going to want to call ahead because it's a little bit limited. So this is what it looks like. You know, everything is here. This is a kid's pool. That's an adults only pool. There's an indoor pool that sits here, hot tub and all that good stuff. But you're here and you're going to walk this. So wear comfortable shoes, right? And be ready for some exercise. And that's the one thing that you're going to face when you're going to hike, is you're going to huff a little bit. You can't get around it. They really don't have a lot of golf carts. You know, maybe you could wrangle the dock master to give you a ride, but it doesn't happen very often. Yes, sir?
So when you pay for the lift, you get access to the facilities?
Yeah, for a mild fee. Honestly, I think they tack on, it might have been $25. They call it a resort fee. So yes, so you get access to everything, but it's like everything in life. They're gonna, you know, no bag flies for free. So they're gonna tag on a little something for you to access all that. They moved to like a band system, so they'll give you a little band at the marina office, and you can go everywhere. The nice piece about it is you don't need to take a wallet with you. You don't need to take anything with you. You can sign off on your boat. They'll give you a number that's as if you stayed in the hotel, and you can charge right everything to your hotel. You know, you can take a cooler there if you want, but, you know, they'll also serve, you know, somebody will come around, they'll serve you up whatever you want. You know, they got good lunch, they got good drinks, they got a great mudslide, but you can also bring your own stuff. But, so maybe give or take $20 a day or something. Any thoughts on Cambridge High, yes, sir.
Accessible for sailboats? Is that past 15?
I don't think you can get through there. I think depending on your mast height. Yeah,
I
depending on your mast
just
height.
it's a 50-foot bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put past.
Yeah.
So,
Unless it's almost like
yeah, yeah, I'd be cautious. I don't think in the whatever, 20-some years, with how long it's been there and I've been going there, I don't think I've seen a sailboat in there once. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think that bridge is a little bit of a tough one to get through. Solomon's Island, another great. This is a good ride though from Herrington Harbour. You're heading south, give or take 33 nautical miles. We'll get into this, but you guys can see it. So summer winds, typically rolling up the bay, southeast direction. That's gonna be a ride. So that's a pick your day type of thing, right? If it's blowing 15 to 20, I ain't going. If it's 5 to 10, that's a great ride down the Solomons, right? You know.
The key is right here, right at the bow.
Yeah.
This, the 10 to 15 can get extremely choppy depending on what the weather is.
Yeah, it makes the washing machine outside of Severn River in Annapolis become. Yeah, it's a little bumpy. But then we've had, I think the last club trip that we were here last year, I don't remember when it was, and I headed out of there. I tell you what, it looked like the floor. It was homeless glass all the way home. You know, so obviously it's the bay. So pick your day, right? But it's a great ride. It's a not a lot to look at. I mean, let's be frank, Calvert County, you got the cliffs and all on your right, the bay's wide open, it's there, so it's not exactly a scenic tour as you go south. Offers a lot of variety. At Solomon's, you got a ton of marinas, this is like in Annapolis, right? I mean, there's just a lot to do here. A lot of restaurants, tiki bar at the end if that's your thing. Got the Calvert Maritime Museum and so forth, they host. You know, Keller Swift, and I think Kels, or whatever his name is, he's going to be there this summer at the Calvert Maritime Museum. So we'll all be there. Yes, ma'am.
So I see the Calvert Maritime Museum. You mentioned a bunch of cliffs. Do you know if there happen to also be beach areas for fossil hunting around there that are easily accessible?
So you can, if you got a good day and you're heading down the bay, absolutely. You know, you just got to watch. So it's kind of like, tons.
Right about here.
Tons in there. Just, I mean, if you got a dinghy, because you're gonna have to anchor off, you know, it's like,
shallow to get in.
it's shallow. So you'll have, I don't know, I mean, I've seen some places where it's 3 feet out, 100 plus yards. And it's muck, right? So when you get in it, you're bringing muck loose. So just depending on how you want to get in and out of there, but absolutely. So you've got a Hartsnall in Calvert County that people go to all the time to go, shark hunting and so forth. Have a good time. So it's fun. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
She had asked about on the way south, could you stop and check out the cliffs? You know, they're known for shark's teeth and so forth, buried in the mud. You can dig around down there. It depending on the weather, yeah, it's an easy place to stop. Of course, if it's 15 to 20, you're praying for home. Not a place you really want to be. So good places. The downside, like we just said, is there's nowhere to hide. So, Bill, we were coming back from somewhere in Virginia, on Hancock.
Yeah.
Bill, you had to jump off into Breezy Point, right?
Yeah.
So that's one location.
It can get rough. You want to make sure you're on the least shore, right, as you're going up there. If you get a wind, we had a good southeast wind.
It seemed like it was coming from every direction.
Yeah, it was a washing machine. We were getting out trying to make it, and I finally had to pull in the Breezy Point, which I would not recommend anybody go to.
Yeah.
It's rough, but it got us through for a day.
Bill, you want to talk about the restricted
Yeah,
areas?
absolutely. So, on the next, right there. Yeah, go
Sure,
ahead.
yeah.
So as you come down here, you have a natural gas dock. You need to stay 500 feet off of natural gas dock. You will see patrols around that. So if you try to cut that, they will stop you. They will push you off. They'll call you on the radio.
They have
Not-
rifles.
Yeah, they're not there to be kind. They're there to keep people
They're not
away
your
from
friend.
from the dock. As you come down around, there's a few other military zones down here on this side. If you're staying close to the edge here, which most people do, you're not gonna have a problem. But
We've
just
also
be,
got the A and B up around North Beach from the naval station in Chesapeake.
and right,
A little further up. Radar towers?
radar tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we got the-
They also have like a gunning range too that's marked on the south side.
Right.
Avoid those.
Yes.
But you've got that Kevlar
So
boat.
the one thing is, you just wanna make sure that you look at what the notices are as you go down, right? So they will, typically on the weekend, they're not doing anything. On the week, if you're going down, they will have areas closed, particularly down by Dogger. So you just have to be aware of what the notifications are. And they will remind you, they're happy to come out and tell you that you're in the wrong spot.
Plenty of places to stay here. You know, we've done Safe Harbor, Sennheisers, I've done Spring Cove, plenty of places, a lot of water, getting in and out. But it's busy. This is like Annapolis. This will be a busy place on the weekends, or St. Michael's. So just keep in mind, you got a lot going on. But you have tons of places to stay, and there's tons of stuff. You walk down here, you're gonna find Restaurant Row, right? And I don't think I've ever had a bad meal. These are all good places, all reasonably priced, right? This isn't, you know, you're not paying DC or Baltimore prices. So everything's nice, people are friendly. You know, they've made accommodations for us. We've gone in with maybe as many as 20, and they put the tables together. You know, they've worked it out for us. It's always worked out well. So good time, good place. Just be aware. So talking about height, there's no height issues going down, right? You'll run into nothing, but maybe a little skinny water. So just be careful. I choose the inside, some choose the outside, right? Just don't choose the middle. So plenty of water to go through the inside, plenty of water to go through the outside. And just, you know, I would just tell you from experience, the last time we were there, I was having such a good time just looking at the sights and chatting with my wife. I ended up back in here. I have no idea how that happened, but I'm owning it. And I realized, where the hell am I? So you know, this little island is you know, keep the island to your left, and you're probably not gonna have my problem. Because most of the places you're gonna go are gonna go up that way. It was a nice ride back there, but plenty of fuel, great place to stop. There is a place where fuel, where the little fuel dock is. If I recall, the prices were good. Everything's reasonable. And Solomon's, I'm not seeing anything jacked up price-wise. You know, you go some places you stop, and you're like, holy cow, we just added $2 to a gallon of diesel or gas. But not so, because my experience in Solomon, I haven't seen that. So plenty of places to go, well protected. You pull up for fuel here, you're fine. You're not getting bumped. You don't have to worry about, you know, putting out the fleet of bumpers or anything like that. You're set to go. So.
Great place to kayak.
Yes.
If you have kayaks, you want to kayak, this is a fantastic place. It's very kayak friendly, very protected. We've done some great kayak.
Great kayak place. So we're going to just chat through a couple other places, that Upper Bay and Lower Bay. For sailboaters, you know, you're talking about a weekend event. Power boaters, you can get many of these without any issue. These are going to be a little bit of a ride. That's probably 70 miles. That's probably 90, give or take, something like that from Herrington Harbour. I'm not a huge Baltimore fan, but, you know, I've done the Middle River a little bit. Fairleigh Creek, that's got an entertaining bar, depending on your, an interesting entrance. Anybody who's going into Fairleigh Creek? One poor soul, okay. How did they rate you, an 8, 7?
I got a 10.
You got it?
Yeah.
She got a 10. That's a little bit of an overachiever when it comes to operating that boat. So think like this. You know, you're here on the lovely Chesapeake, and then you say, oh, I'm going in Fairleigh Creek, and you can't see it. You're like, where the hell is it? And then all of a sudden you're 20 feet off the beach, and you're going down, and you see all these people in chairs. And they're all sitting there. With signs. And you're like, wait a minute, I gotta make that right-hand turn. And then you look at the water and you go, holy cow, that water's smoking. And it is. That current is ripping through this little cut.
Then you complicate it with swimmers.
Swimmers, right? Because as after you go in, it opens up into a wide basin that you can drop your anchor, leave your stuff, you can swim for the day, you can swim over to the bar. Not a far swim to get to the bar. The problem is, When somebody's cutting through there and you're swimming across it, it has challenges to life for you as a boat operator. So just be aware, it's a fun place to go. It is lively. Some may say it's too lively. Some will cover the kids' eyes. So just be aware. Colchester, another good place that has another bar, pool, busy place, great day trip, stay the night, whatever you want to do. Again, busy place on a weekend. They've always got something going on. Rock Hall, love that place. Love that place. So when you go into Rock Hall, just gotta remember, there is a cut through this. So you go into the basin and it opens up. It does have some shallow areas, so you gotta look for the markers and you can cut directly through it. The cut through that goes across on Rock Hall will take you right to Rock Hall Landing Marina, which is probably my favorite. That place, we've been there a couple times. I'm dying to go back. I think we're going there Memorial Day. That's our yacht club kind of opening cruise, if you will. It's a really, really nice place. We did Chestertown. That's a city. The city we did the Deers. Beautiful, right? That was a fall trip. They don't have pools. Rock Hall. So when you get to Rock Hall Landing's got a great pool. They got a great fire pit. So if that's a weekend you just want to go and meet 20 new people, you'll go over there, you'll tie up, you walk across the road that hardly any traffic on. It's 20 feet wide, and then on the other side they got a great fire pit and 20 or 30 chairs. You'll know about the hammocks.
Yeah, fantastic hammocks.
What's the cruising time to Rock Hall?
Rock Hall, for me, and I'm running 23 knots, is about 2 hours. Look, maybe just a tad over 2 hours. I would say an hour north of the bridge, something like that at that speed. Yeah, give or take. So, but great run. That is well worth it. Yes, ma'am.
Chestertown, is there anchorages? Can you anchor anywhere around there?
Yeah, you can.
You can anchor right here.
You can anchor anywhere there. Yeah. You're so far up the river that no issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's about 6 spaces, as you go almost due north as you're coming into things. The city owns it, it's free, first come, first served. It's even got a step down dock, so it's as civilized as you can get.
Where are you talking about?
Rock Hall or
Rock Hall.
Rock Hall.
Rock Hall, yeah.
Yeah. Rock Hall has a lot of options. You can even go around the backside. It's a little bit of a huff. I'd say it's a mile walk. So if you want to go to Rock Hall, stay in the basin. You know, stay in one of the marinas in the basin. And I would just, my fan pick would be the Rock Hall Landing. That would be
Fantastic.
a fantastic place.
Best place to take a nap ever.
Yeah.
And if you're out there here in the yacht, they also have a whole bunch of grills that are just.
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
absolutely, yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Grills. Right next door, so if you want to invite your friends, but you don't want to stay on the boat, they've got a really nice hotel that's right there. So when we went there as a club, we had one of our group, it's a boat, right? So on Thursday morning, something broke. And so Friday, they weren't able to leave. They called the hotel. They were able to get a room. It's not a lot. It doesn't look like a lot from the outside, but it was clean and they loved it. And they had maybe a 30-yard walk to the fire pit. Yes, ma'am.
Rock Hall also has a free shuttle bus that can go around the island.
Yeah, we haven't seen that anymore. We loved it. I mean, we were there just last year and it's a no-go, but maybe they'll start it back up. Haven't seen it since COVID. Maybe they will. Who knows?
Rock Hall Landing also has bicycles. So if you're still holding a grab a bike and just bike around town without charge, I think. They say rental, but last year they were.
Yeah. I think you could probably get to easily 3 great restaurants, because we stayed there for a weekend, so we went out twice, went to 2 different restaurants. Both of them were great. Both of them took a group of 15 of us with some reservations. Give or take.
Last year we had 35 people.
Yeah.
They accommodated us at a restaurant, all at the same time, no shop.
So, yeah, good place. You can't go wrong in Rock Hall. If you don't mind a ride up there, you can't go wrong. Yes, sir.
Is there a good option for anchoring out?
At Rock Hall?
Swan Creek.
Yeah,
So we
backside.
have to go up and around Swan Creek, and you can anchor in there, and from there you can dinghy into either Osprey Point Marina for dinner, or you can dinghy into Herrington Harbour, which is also on the creek. You might be able to leave your dinghy there, and they have bicycles as well.
You can come back around and go into I call it basin, but you could head in there as well. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you mentioned one hotel, are there hotel options? A fair amount or just?
Yeah, Herrington Harbour has a hotel off of Swan Creek. The hotel here at Rockville Landing is an old-fashioned, like, park your car and you walk through your door and you're in your room, little tiny place. Sagamore Blue took the place over 2 years ago, I think it was, and they redid all the rooms. Everything is new in the room except for the tub. And they're comfortable, they're clean, they're small, they're great. Yeah, I've stayed there a number of times on different events.
Yeah, our folks that stayed there loved it. They couldn't say enough about how nice it was. You wouldn't know from the outside, but once you walk in the door, it's very quaint. And it looks like something out of the 60s or something. Not that I was around. Maybe, a little bit. Odeon Cock. It's a hump, probably 70 nautical miles.
70 nautical miles.
Yeah.
Well worth the trip,
Well
though.
worth the trip.
It's a quiet town, restaurant right there, historic town, you can go walking, shop. All of our members love to go there,
Yeah.
actually, we have members go there when they're just cruising, so if you haven't been, take a look at it, on the Hancock Wharf, fantastic, trip down.
Another good kayak place, don't drop kayaks in and just explore that whole back area of the Hancock, a lot of wildlife, just a good time.
Hancock Wharf has golf carts that you can rent to get around town. I would not suggest going there on a Monday because a lot of the stores are closed.
Oh, good point.
But everything else is a great place to go. And you can get a shuttle, or not a shuttle, ferry over to Tillman. Tillman? No, Tangier.
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 Probably 30 yards from the town dock, which is where we stayed. A great little restaurant, great restaurant, yeah. So good place to stay. Cape Charles, depending on where you go, right? I mean,
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So Cape Charles has really come up over the past few years. They have, what was it that we went and stayed at? That was Kings Creek?
Kings Creek, I think it's called. It's changed names a few times, but there's a nice, they try to turn it into what looks like an Outer Banks style home resort, where they've got condos, they've got the beach homes, if you will, everything's on stilts, everything's, tall, and everything's colorful. The problem.
Well, the issue
Yeah.
is getting in.
Getting it.
The entrance to Kings Creek is very, very shallow. I think we bumped several times coming in. Deb, you might have bumped.
I didn't go because of that.
Yeah.
So we had several boats bumped going in there. The marina's fantastic. It's just the entrance to get in there is really tough. But you want to go on high tide.
High tide, across the finish.
Yeah.
If you're drawing more than, if you need more than probably 4 feet of water.
Now, they now own the Cape Charles Central Harbor, the main harbor that's down. So there used to be a city-owned harbor. They now own that area and get access to all the amenities, which is a lot easier to get into. Deep water all the way through, ships regular.
I was gonna say, it's a little too commercial for me, so if I was to go back down there, I would probably go back to the Kings Creek where we were, but, unless they dredge that, I won't go again. I mean, literally 2, 3, 4 times I bumped, and then even getting out of the slip, you're gonna bump. You been there?
They have an Arnold Palmer and a Jack Nicklaus signature color.
Yeah, yeah.
Incredible combination.
Yeah, maybe probably a great place to drive and go down for a weekend. If you got outboards, easy peasy, right? I mean, any smoking there with no problem, lift them up, you're going right through. I got prop tunnels and I'm still, no way. I mean, I could feel it, I didn't hit anything, I didn't feel anything but boom, but
It's very small.
we
It
just
is
did
small
the,
all the way through.
and my option was throttle or back up. I chose throttle, we pushed through, and then it cleared quickly, but, because it's mud, right? It's just mud. But needless to say, it's a little bit of a challenge. So Cape Charles is a hop. And then if you gotta run it back, we ran it back in a day. So that's a 90-mile run. So if you are doing 20-some knots, that's a 4-hour ride there. And keep in mind, there are parts of that bay where the Patuxent and the Potomac, holy cow, you think you're in the middle of the Atlantic, because that's the washboard. I mean, that's where it just gets a little bit nasty.
It can
No
be
matter
nasty,
what the weather.
You have to be aware. You have to be aware of what's going on.
So, Couple Middle Bay places to talk about. These are more like day trips and raft ups that we've enjoyed. Easy ones, 20 nautical miles, give or take, from Herrington Harbour North or south. You know, restaurants, and these are good dock and dine places. So, for example, on the West River, good dock and dine places, great places to stay on the road. We'll talk about those. Anybody been to Lowe's Wharf? Lively place, right? Again, this is another one of those places, so it's an easy ride, it's 11 nautical miles. Probably everyone has looked across and saw Poplar Island. It's right on the back side. Here's the challenges. That entry is narrow. That water is shallow, and that's me. So
That's the secret.
I had the best nap of a lifetime with my 6-month-old grandson a couple years back, and I was like, a lot of water pushing out from my generator. Because in 6 months, we had to enjoy the air conditioning while everyone else was up at the bar. We had a great nap, but when I got back, I dumped an entire strainer of grass. I've never seen so much grass in my life. I will tell you that the bay is healthy outside of Lowe's Wharf because it is growing. And if I was to guess, I dropped that anchor in probably what was at the time 5 feet of water. When I left, I was in 3 feet. It was, get out and push because I was a little nervous on getting out, but I was sucking up a ton of grass. So if you go in there, turn your stuff off, make sure you've got a good anchor. This is another one where if you use a Fortress, drop that sucker in mud mode so you stick better. There's a few balls, we'll show you a picture, but not a ton. So if you're a sailboater, this is not your place, right? I mean, you're not going to enjoy this. You can anchor up outside off the back of Poplar, maybe run your dinghy in, if you want to go for the fun, but it's a little tricky, and I'll show you. They do have a shuttle, so the owner's son, nice kid, he's a young man, he'll run you back and forth. He's got a red dinghy, you can't miss this thing, it's enormous, and he runs around that place at about 20 knots. So he will get you picked up fast. You don't have to hold him, you don't have to do nothing. Just stand on the back of your boat, look like you want to have fun, and he will scoop you up. You throw him a couple bucks, right? I mean, that's what I do, but he doesn't charge anything because you're going to go in and spend money with the family. So that's the way this place is. They got food is like typically a truck, so they don't, the last few times I've been there, it's always been a food truck, but it's good if you're interested. They got beach chairs, they got umbrellas, they got like the tiki bars. You can play volleyball, you can play cornhole, whatever you want to do, and they've got music playing. So this is where you're going. So you can see, so your Herrington Harbour, your Herring Bay's over here. It's an easy shot. I've always come around the bottom side, but you can choose either one. You come in, and this is where it gets a little shallow. There is a spot right in the middle. Imagine that. It's like going in the solids. Why they got to put it there? I don't know who did it, but it wasn't me. There is a spot right in the middle. It gets really shallow. Just watch the chart and go around either side. But this is what it looks like. So I have this photo got to be old because I don't know how that guy got in there. That is something. That's 2 feet of water, right? I mean, you're walking around, knee deep here. The dinghy guy will drop you off right here, and this is again the beach, the fun. Food trucks are usually back up here. The bars. It's a good time. It's a nice place, very lively, very entertaining. It's a short ride, but again, you sailboats, you're not going. That guy's probably got a, rudder protection, so he's probably got he's going in and out with no issue, but I don't know how, depending on the tide, I don't know how they made it. Dunn Cove. So this one's actually compliments of Herrington Harbour put this out and put it on my watch list. We went there, just my wife and I, spent the day. It was great. I mean, this is a quiet place to go for the day. It's not crowded. Do a raft up. There's no bumping. You can't raft up in Herring Bay, right? Because you're gonna be damaging boats. You can stay here all night long. The only thing I worry about, it is muck. So again, depending on your anchor, but you're pretty well protected. So once you see, let me give you a photo. So this is where you're going to be at. This is so well protected. Great place. So if you want a place on sailboats, you're just going to have to go around the bottom side of Tillman, right? You can cut through, but I really recommend. I'd probably go around the bottom side and then head up. It's a nice little ride up in here. It's not bad. So just below the shallow here is an opening. It's between here and the lighthouse, which you can't miss because it's happening over. And you'll see it, and you can cut right through and come right back up, and then get up to Gun Cove. Pretty ride, pretty place, great, big houses, no one seems to care. You gotta let the dog out, use the beach for their business. I've never seen an issue, never crowded, again, kind of a mud background. So this was a little bit of a best kept secret. I've been on the bay for probably 50 some years now and never knew about this. So make sure when Herrington Harbour puts that out in your email, take a look at those places. It was one of those wow for me. Never been up there. Seen it calm, good bottom. You're holding really well. No issues there.
Excuse me.
Go.
Does Dun Cove have like restaurants and
No.
stuff to go to?
No.
So it's
It's just you. It's just you and nature. You and a couple millionaires, away to you. Kayaking's great. My wife swears she saw a shark kayaking. I'm trying to think, what were we having beverage-wise that day? I tried to convince her it was a skate. No, it's a shark. Sure it was. Just be aware that it's swimming. But plus,
Just north of Dun Cove, in the next cove up, you can anchor and then walk across to go to Lowe's.
to Lowe's, yeah, you probably can. Yeah, probably it's if you see the red at the very top, I think you're right. You can go all the way up to land and walk across. So another way to get there. Yep. Dun Cove, nice place. Check it out for the day. So if you again, sailboat, yeah, you that's probably overnight, but that's a great place to stay overnight. You are so well protected back there, you'll love it. You get up in the morning and be like, I just added 5 years in my life. So Tillman Island, some like it. There's places to stop here. There's fuel, for example. There's fuel here and there's fuel here. This place here is cheaper, but people don't know about it. But so if you need fuel and you want to drop into there, into this little hole, you can. There's restaurants there. There's a marina. I'll show you in a minute. But this is where, up until probably a few years ago, one of our members just went through. Brad went through. So one of our members went through and said it was the depth was fine. They must have dredged it. They said the depth was fine. I went through there and it was like, I wasn't comfortable, right? And I'm not drawing. I mean, like I said, I'm at 3.5 on my bump. When I was picking up some places, I probably had a foot of water underneath my props, and I decided that wasn't for me. So I go around, but you can go through. The bridge fender will open for you, no issue. I mean, this is an easy one. Call them, they'll shout them, they'll open that bridge up for you. There's some commercial traffic in there, right? The watermen. It tends to be a little busier. My experience was that's a little busier on this side. So as you come through, just be aware in case you got some commercial, fishing boats rolling in and out of here. But as you come through, it's a great ride. I mean, it's a great sight to go through. The birds are flying. I think off on this Tar Island, you'll have a plethora of wildlife hanging out over there. So it's a good ride. But again, if you're a sailboat, I wouldn't do it. But powerboat, especially if you're a power with no tower or you're not a flybridge, express, you drop those antennas. You probably don't even need to raise the bridge, to be frank, depending on the tide. And then when you come out the backside, there's going to be a somewhat narrow channel that heads out. And I think, so you see it right here. So you're coming through, and then there's going to be a narrow channel, and then it opens back. Here's better. Yeah. So here's better. So you got a fairly narrow channel coming out the backside. You got a narrow channel going in, and then coming back out the backside. Look, both sides here, I mean, it's a sand boom. You'll come to a quick stop.
Don't try to cut that.
We'll cut that. Yeah. You'll have a tough time getting out of there. West River, Road River. So some of our favorites for weekends, I bet, I don't know what my father was thinking when I was 16, and he let me take the keys to the truck and trailer our boat to Edgewater, where I live now, and put that boat in and spend the day. I don't know what he was thinking, but we had a great time, and trust me, I had 3 kids, I was not that stupid. So they didn't get that opportunity. But the west of the road are great places, so we'll kind of go through each of these. Easy ride, right? 15 nautical miles. This is an easy ride for the most part. If the weather turns, you're going to get that southeast wind again, so you might have a little bumpy ride getting back, but it's nothing crazy and it's not far. I mean, if it was an hour at 20 knots or something, that's probably, yeah, you can probably make it even a little bit faster. Very popular place. I'll show you where the crab pots are because, as we say, they're everywhere, and there is a shoal, so we'll show you that on the chart. So you're coming up, you're down here, Herring Bay, and you're coming up this way. You just got to get around this piece here, right? And this is well marked on the charts. So whether you're using, and Bill's going to go over that at the end, whether you're in your Garmin, your Navionics, whatever you're on, this is well marked, and there are a ton of crab pots. So just be cautious, kind of stay out in that slightly deeper water. I tend to ride this edge here, and then I'll make that swing around this way. I've cut this before. Like if I'm pressed for time, I've cut this maybe the edge here, but you are dodging crab pots, and I mean they're everywhere. Some of them, I mean, you know, the things are below the water. I've had a couple of dark ones that pop up, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. I have no idea how I made it over and didn't get caught up. So I'm trying to take the safe route and come in. A lot of boat traffic. So you'll have boat traffic coming from the north, from the South River. You'll have boat traffic coming in from the main bay. This is a very popular, the West River, very popular sailboat. Very popular sailboat here. We'll show you kind of where. And then the Road River, I would say, probably more popular on the powerboat side of it. The West River, good restaurants, Stan and Joe's, Pirates Cove. Depending on your boat, if you got a small boat or a dinghy, you can get into Pirates Cove, Big Mary's, Dock Bar. It's a great place. Great restaurant, good food, great drinks. Got a great, typically 1 or 2 person band playing on weekends. It's fun. It's a good time. I can't get my boat in here. That marina, the slips are fairly narrow. So just be cautious. You may or may not be able to get your boat into there. I've never been able to find a slip. My boat's 14.5 feet wide. I can't find a slip in there. So I'd have to go in, tie it at the end somewhere, or drop an anchor, something like that. And I don't drop an anchor in the West River because again, we're talking about mud. It's muck, and I'm not confident that it's going to stay. So, but these are good. Stan and Joe's. I've never. So somebody asked about, you know, can you just head there and grab a spot? I have never not found a spot to dock at Stan and Joe's. And there's still Stan and Joe's. Anybody? It's changed a couple times. So Stan and Joe's still. I've never not found a place to dock, which is great. And typically they've got dock hands that will run out and give you a quick hand. Throw them a couple bucks, whatever. Never had a problem. So that's always been a favorite of ours, especially if you got people that you want to show them the bay, you want to give them a ride, you take them up. That's a good place to run to, Stan and Joe's. So West River, so you're coming in, you know, the Road River will break off to the north. We'll show you that in a minute. The West River will come in. It narrows a little bit here, but I've never, you know, it's still wide. I mean, there's plenty of room in here. Traffic isn't overwhelming. I don't think you're going to run into any challenges. Little creek back up in here, but this is where all the places are. They're easy to find, You'll see them. You'll have no issue finding out where the restaurants are. The only one, the Pirates Cove, sits way back, so you'll see a fuel dock for that. I'm drawing a blank. Anybody remember the name of that marina there? Where Stan and Joe's is?
Paradise.
Is it Paradise?
I think it's no. No, it's not Harchie's. Oh gosh,
Doesn't matter.
I'm ghosting.
So think like this: fuel dock, right? And then the slips are probably, if I had to guess, it's a 70, 80 yard run from the front all the way up to the bar. You know, to where you can dock up at the bar. And so that's where that's at. That's going to be first. And then second is going to be Stan and Joe's. You cannot miss Stan and Joe's. You'll see it. It'll stick out. Great slips. They're fixed. They ain't a floating, you know, dock there, but they're all fixed. They're all new. They're all stable. No issues. You can be 100 feet wide and you'll fit in that place. So again, I've never run into a problem. I have anchored here. It was pure muck. So again, depending on your anchor, I've never had luck with my Delta. That's why I switched to a Fortress. Just for me in the bay, I put it on mud mode. I don't have an issue. But this is mud. So, you know, depending on the wind, whatever, you might drag a little bit. If it's a nice calm day, it's not a bad place to jump in the water and swim. Not a ton of boat traffic back in there. So that's your West River. The road, very popular. Quiet and serene. Depends on the day. The week it's great. Weekends it's okay, but it can be lively with boat traffic. There's no six knot speed limit, so a lot of people raft up, which is great. I raft up back there. I would just caution you to have a lot of bumpers, right? Because you can have the person that rolls by in the 20-foot center console at 30 knots, and he or she's going to rock it a little bit. So just be aware. I'll show you the photo in a minute. You circle around. You enter the Road River off to the west. I'll show you where. And then again, it's very protected. A lot of crab pots going in and out, but once you're up into the actual river itself, no, you're not going to find it. I mean, maybe the local homeowner or something. A lot of waterfronts on the right-hand side. There's a beach to play on the left if you want to head there. I'll show you where that's at. So you're coming in. Remember what I said was I typically kind of take a roundabout where all the crab pots are here, and you're coming in. The West River takes you this way, and then you'll see the Road River will break off to the north. A little bit tight coming through here. You'll often see a little bit of boat traffic through here, but this is fairly easy. It's wide open, it's fairly easy. You'll come through. I typically will slow down, give or take around here, because I'm rocking somebody's world. I mean, there's a lot of waterfronts. You've all got their boats tied up, and I'm not trying to damage anybody's boat. So I will slow up and kind of crawl in here. And then once you get around this point, so this will be my story from many moons ago. This island actually existed. Who's been on the Road River? I think you spent time on the Road River 50 years ago. Only me? Oh, man. Okay, so this island was here day or night, high tide, low tide, didn't matter, you saw it. And 16 years old, we pulled the boat up and break out our sodas. Put the beach chairs out, right? Because remember, Dad didn't know, he lived in College Park. So, it was a great time. Today, depending on the tide, that thing drops down. So my 29-year-old engineer, Navy, works for the Navy, thinks he can drive a boat. He drove my old boat right into this. And he's been there 100 times. He's been there 200 times. He's been there since he was probably 6 months old. And it was probably 4 years back that he came around here, and he was so entertained by looking at the phone and figuring out where he was going to tie off to us that he drove right into the edge of that sucker. Well, 10 guys went 3 or 4 knots. And 10 of them got off and gave him a big push off the back. Took him 15 minutes, and I laughed like crazy. And I told him, that bill's coming out of your pocket, it was damaged. But fortunately, no issues. So just be aware, as you come around that corner, there's this island here. A lot of people like to drop the hook. They will drop the hook in and around here. It's very muddy, so keep in mind, mud. So anchor-wise, make your choice. And then they'll pull up to that island there. There'll be kids playing. There'll be dogs running around. That's just a great place. There'll be a ton of raft ups in and out here. They'll be lined up on a weekend through here. I mean, thick as thieves here. You'll typically see sailboat friends will probably drop here, because a lot of them will have their digging and then they can ride in. That is a great ride around the outside. So Smithsonian and all, this is just a beautiful place. So you can go for a ride around the backside and come up. There's not a restaurant on the Road River that you're going to find. You're not going to find. You can get fuel. You can come in here, and this is called Quality Work of Edgewater. There's a fuel meter right here. The county has a dock that sits right off of here, so you'll see a ton of folks either crabbing or fishing. It's just a busy pier for the county, so you'll see a lot of that. And then there's down here, there's also a camp. So in the summertime, you'll see there's a camp here, and there's a camp up here. Camp Les is up here. Summertime, you'll see a ton of kids out there on the small sailfish sailboats, and they're doing their thing. Great place, easy to get to, sailboat friendly, whatever. A few hour ride in the morning, a few hour ride home at night, but we're staying the night and head out in the morning. Good place. Any questions on the road? Yep.
Not a question, but a comment. Not very far off from the island, if you go just northwest, you can actually pick up all of the trails at the Southeast Herring Harbour Ecological Research Center.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Within 7 miles of here.
You can hike it. Cool place. I've seen, a lot of folks will drop anchor here too. And great place for your dog, for the beach. I wouldn't raft up here. So everyone's going to raft up here. But you're going to have the group that flies around. You're going to get some water skiers depending on the time of the year, or maybe early morning, late afternoon, you'll get some water skiers back here, and so they'll create a little bit of a wave. So again, bumper heavy if you're rafting up. I wouldn't raft up here, but if you're alone and you want to drop, it's not a bad place. There's a sunken sailboat. Matter of fact, that might be the warning here. There's a sunken sailboat in there. You know, I think sticking out some mast. But again, it's a very nice place to be. Road River. But Bill, this is your neck of the woods.
Yeah. So another location is Dobson Island, which is right up here. This is the Magothy coming up the bay. Cut in here, go up behind the island. Great place to anchor. They have a fantastic beach. That beach has a bunch of pilings on it. Do not go past the pilings. Past the pilings is the private portion of the island. As long as you don't go past the pilings, you're fine. Fantastic anchorage, good sandy bottom there. Very, very protected. We often go there and go swimming. You can go up behind this, come back around to Gibson Island. They have a big mooring field there where you can stay. Really nice trip, very well protected. If you want to do it overnight on a mooring ball. No real restaurants or anything right up here, but just a great place to hang out. You'll see a lot of boats up there, rafting up. Any questions about that?
Bill, isn't that a little more jellyfish friendly?
Yeah, when the jellyfish come to the bay, this is a little more further north, and we don't typically get jellyfish heavy up here. So if you're down south and you get seen a lot of jellyfish, you want to take the kids swimming, go up here, pop in. July, August time frame, still pretty good to go swim. All right, a couple other anchorages and day trips, Wye River and Shaw Bay. I'll tell you, Shaw Bay is great. They do a concert there. We've gone there, a bunch of boats, rafted up. I think this is a picture of our boats.
That's the band.
That's the band. So, fantastic time. We often have a contingent of boats that will anchor up and stay overnight. If you want to do that, if you want to do it as a day thing, you can do it as a day thing. Last year we had some weather come in, so we were all trying to beat the weather. Maybe a little tricky if the weather comes in, but fantastic trip. Is that on, Andy, is that on the schedule this year? Perfect. When is that?
September 7th.
Thank you. So September 7th, we'll be going there for a wrap up. Resources. These are just a few of the resources that you can get. You can go through magazines and newspapers, Chesapeake Bay Magazine, Prop Talk, you can pick up anywhere for free. Spin Sheet's a great one. We find a lot of hidden gems in those magazines. Somebody will write about a little thing like we found in Dunn's Cove. Well, Dunn's Cove was the email, so
Herrington Harbour.
yeah. Just, take a look through, a quick breeze through when you're in West Marine or something like that, see what's there. If something's interesting, take it with you. Destination Marina typically has a bunch of stuff at the Marina office. Take a look at the stuff around, see what's around. Typically they'll have quite a bit of information. Local Chamber of Commerce, websites, the local yacht clubs have always been fantastic to find out what's around us, particularly when we do our long trips. We'll contact them. Hey, what's going on? What's happening this weekend? What's around? Trying to keep up with the restaurants. That's a good way to go because restaurants are constantly changing. Craft decks and tiki bars. There's a book. It's been updated recently. Not sure. I think it was 22 that was updated. Fantastic book that you can get. Has all kinds of different spots, restaurants, bars, places to visit. Strongly recommend that one. And then cruising guides will give you the latest on entrances and movies, etc. Navigation software and marine information. Like I said, slip reservations. Typically Docwa or Snag-a-Slip. That's what everybody's moved to. By far, I think most marinas we've been going to are Docwa. I think we had one last year that was Snag-a-Slip. Navigation, there's Garmin, Active Captain, Navionics, I'll tell you, Navionics is my go-to, so easy to use. I can pop it up on my computer, on my phone. I have an account with them, so I pay the annual $20 a year, $25 a year. And I can access all of my waypoints and everything. I can import them into my Garmin, export from my Garmin to them. I plan all my trips that way, all the routing, everything else. I can do that at the comfort of my home. That's where all these images came from, so all the charts you see are all from Navionics. You can go there for free, plot out trips, you just can't save them. So if you go to the Navionics website, you can do that. Argo is another one that people use. Now, I'm not as familiar with this one. So some people like this, some people don't. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with it. Can't tell you a whole lot about it. Websites, these are just a variety of different ones that have great information on them. Coastalboating.net, it has a lot of anchorages. They also have a lot of reports from people about how the anchorages are, so it's always good to go in there and check it out. Let's see. Weather, windy, by far the best app that I have ever used. They're constantly updating this app. It has multiple prediction algorithms that you can select. It'll do the best, what it considers the best one. 90% of the time, I think it's accurate. I think it's a lot better than knowing forecast. We are constantly checking this during our trips. It'll give you height of waves now, it'll give you currents, it'll give you the wind speed, rain, precipitation, what's coming. You can do weather routing on there now. If you don't have windy, I strongly recommend you get it. Well worth it. There's also predict wind, sail flow, and boats US that will give you some of the weather information. If you go to the Middle Yacht Club, where the race results are, they have a weather that's pretty good there. They'll give you the weather conditions. NOAA, marineweather.net gives you the tides. We always pull the tides from there. We typically send out a tide chart of where we're going and what the tides are going to be for the time period we're going there. And then for currents, fishcurrents.com. Some other resources. If you're new to boating, I recommend a pre-departure checklist. This is just one that's at Discover Boating. Pretty easy. You go up there, you pull that down. You run through that list once or twice, you're going to have it down. You're going to have your stuff down. But make sure that you don't forget something, right? Because when you get there and you forget something, that's a problem. Float plans. You can file a float plan from the Coast Guard. There's a couple of links here that you can get a float plan from them. And that just, you give that to somebody, a relative or somebody that knows where you're going, so that if anything happens, they know where you're at. Typically, if we're going in groups, no need for a float plan, right? We all know where we're going, and we're watching out for each other. So next thing to do, you want to go over there and talk to Dan Fast, and you want to join HBYC. Use the resources that we have to plan your trip. Like I said, give Navionics a try. Not sponsored by them, but let me tell you, it's unbelievable. Be safe. I will say this, I say this every time. If you guys are going out to your boats during the winter and you're on the dock, wear a life jacket. Okay, we've had 3 members over the last 5 years that have died during the winter because they slipped and fell into the water.
That was all of them.
Yes, they were by themselves, no life jacket, slipped, passed away. So if you're going out, particularly during the winter, just wear a life jacket. Enjoy your boat and enjoy the bay. That's what we're here for, to have fun. So hopefully you found this useful. Go to our website. Anything else?
Questions? Thoughts? Yes, sir.
I want to go back to the chop tank.
Yep.
Yep.
You said there was something challenging at the mouth of the chop tank. What was it?
So, one would be if you cut through Naps Narrows to get out the backside.
Okay.
That's got a lot of current kind of narrow waterways, you know, to get through. Otherwise, there is, if we go back to it, so just south, let me show you real quick. So just south of Tillman, so Naft is going to be around here. You can cut through and head up, or what I do is I just go around. So there's an opening here, and it's on every chart. And I'll be honest, it doesn't matter what it is. Clear as a bell, you can see it, and you can roll right through there. So that's the way I go. You don't have to go around the lighthouse. You can cut right through there. Yep. But loaded with trap pots on both sides. Yes, sir.
Where are we posting the video that you guys are making?
Brad.
It's on YouTube, on the Herrington Harbor's YouTube channel.
Excellent, thank you.
All of our videos are on there, the Suddenly Command, the Navigation 101, Navigation 301, Diesel Basics. There's dozens of great videos on there.
Oh, terrific, because we chickened out last week, so we wanted it.
It's on there as well.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot for putting this on. Really appreciate it, learned a lot. And is there a link to the yacht club on the Herrington site?
No, there's not. I left business cards out here. It's HBYC.org. There's a link to join there. Okay, you got that. If you want questions, you can go info at, or you can do Commodore at, or you can do Fleet Captain at. Couple things, there's also, I put a couple calendars out, just to give you an idea of how busy we are and how social we are. Beginning in May, we have, May 4th is our opening day. May 18th, we're doing a dock and dine.
Oh.
So May 4th is our opening day. That's at Herrington Harbour South. It's, we're doing a survey says kind of a game show thing this year, which should be a lot of fun. The following weekend is Mother's Day, so we take that weekend off. The weekend after that, we have a dock and dine, where if people don't have boats, they can hop on other people's boats and we'll go out and have lunch. If you go on a fast boat like Tom's, you can leave at 10 and be back by 2. If you go on a slow boat like mine, you're going to leave at 8 and you're going to be back by 5. Then the weekend after that's Memorial Day, we're 3 days up in Rock Hall. The weekend after that, we have a barbecue at our clubhouse at Herrington Harbour South. The weekend after that is the weekend that we are going to Safe Harbor, Oxford. The weekend after that is Father's Day weekend, so we take the weekend off. The weekend after that is, I forgot, the third Friday. We have happy hours on the third Friday of every month from May till October. So I forgot that in May. June, weekend after Father's Day is happy hour. The weekend after that, I think we're free. Then we start off July, we have a hamburger and hot dog barbecue at our clubhouse. Then we go on, I think we go on a cruise that next weekend. And then we go on our long cruise, which this year is Solomon's, and then we go to Point Lookout, and then Deltaville for 2 nights, and Crisfield for 2 nights, then we're back at Solomon's, and we're back home. And then we have another, let's see, end of August, we have, I forgot the taco party in June, or July taco party. August, we have a dock go round at South with pizza. And then we're taking Labor Day weekend off so people can go to the Pirates Party at South. Then the weekend after that is, we wrapped up at Shaw Bay. The weekend after that is our fall feast. This year it's a crab boil on the beach at Herrington Harbour South on the West Beach. The weekend after that is a happy hour. Then in October, we do Columbus Day weekend at the Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum. The weekend after that, we have our chili cook-off, and of course, there's a happy hour that weekend. And then, but into November, we have a turkey fry, where we supply the fried turkeys. Everybody comes with their best dish, and we have a fabulous Friendsgiving. And then the weekend after that is our fourth quarter general membership meeting, which is really a nice get-together before the holidays for our club at Happy Harbor. So we are busy. So if you want social, where you want to be is with us. So anybody have any questions?
Do that without a teleprompter.
I know. I mean, this is indelibly etched into my brain.
You got the stuff there.
I've been working on this with my team, so.
You know, this is a come and go as you are, right? I mean, listen, nobody needs to get dressed up for this. You come to the stuff you want to come. You know, if you like the boating stuff, you go to more boating stuff. We'd love to see it, everything. But that's what's so, I think, attractive about this yacht club. I've been there for 5 years, and I'm gonna tell you, it was the best investment I ever made. So getting that tip and joining, you got new friends, you travel to nice places, you find yourself doing stuff with people, you know, in the winter months, and on top of that, you just have people to go to, right? And we have a little bit of everybody. So you got the folks from this extreme to that extreme. You name it, we got it. Sailboaters, non-boaters, power boaters, old, young, everything in between.
Well, and the support too. My wife and I just joined last year after we came to this event, and we were one of the boats that broke down before the first cruise weekend. And we had all kinds of help, and got to borrow tools and everything. So we actually made the weekend. We just didn't make the first night because of the help from everybody and loaning the tools and everything else. So I still spent that Saturday on my boat by myself at the marina fixing it, but we got to go on the cruise. So there's a lot of help. We were all welcomed in, and or I should say we were welcomed in by everyone. So yeah, it's really cool. Just join, go to whatever you want to go to, and don't worry about the rest.
We kind of look out for each other, so Andy showed up on Saturday, or Sunday morning, right? That was Sunday morning, you showed up at the Rock Hall of Memorial Day weekend. And everybody, we had a nice evening, Sunday night, Monday morning, I get up and I had all the bagels on my boat. So I look up and I see Andy sitting on the back of his boat, and it's like 7:30 in the morning. So I texted him and I said, hey, I see you're up, you want coffee? And he's like, who the heck is this? He said, somebody's spying on me. I'm watching him look around. We had fun. Any other questions?
Good.
I was just gonna add one thing about the West River. If you go in there Wednesday or Friday, they have sailboat racing going on in the river,
Yeah.
so watch out for that. And the restaurants will be full, because they all meet there after the races.
And you guys, Herrington Harbour has a new marina in there, right?
Yeah, Herrington Harbour purchased Harchie Yacht Harbor about 3 years ago, and we've got all new mooring balls and transient slips, and it's a very, very nice marina over there now. There, Harchie Yacht Harbor.
West River.
On the West River,
West
yes.
River.
So, we've been working nonstop there for 2.5 years. It's completely upgraded. It doesn't, if you've been there in the past, you'll recognize the old buildings, and we've kept all the old structures from the 1800s. The marina was established in 1865, so lots of old history there, and it's a very cool marina.
What's the reciprocal agreement between them?
There are none. The only reciprocal benefits that you get is between Herrington North and South. All their other marinas are standalone marinas. We don't have a pool on site, but there is a pool. We have a partnership with West River Yacht Club, and we use their pool. We have loaner beach cruiser bikes, so if you come down on a mooring, you can grab the beach cruisers and ride all around Galesville. There's an old ballpark there that it's one of the last sandlot baseball fields in the United States. They have all the local all-star teams, and there's a men's league that plays there on the weekends. It's a fun little town.
About 15 minutes north of here, if you don't know how you're going back.
Oh, on the map?
Show us on a map where that's at?
Let's see.
By Stan and Joe's.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right below that start. Where the number, yeah. If you can see the Harchies from Stan and Joe's if you're over there. It's just right across from there. We have 65-foot mooring balls all the way down to 30-foot mooring balls, 500-pound inverted pyramid anchors, and all new hardware. And it's extremely well protected. You're behind 3 land masses, so if you're coming up the marina and you're in trouble, you can jump in and grab a mooring ball and call us, and it's fine. You'll be very well protected back there.
So if you're heading north, this is Muddy Creek probably, and you can just shoot Galesville. There's a Highs, high store on the left-hand side. You can make a right if you're driving, you're going home, you want to check out the ballpark or just check out that town. And then I'll take you out to 214, and you could shoot back toward DC or make your way back up toward 97, depending where you're going. Good?
You did a great job.
All right. Thank you, people.